Hello everyone, I'm Geek Freak and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be reacting to Show-Off Showdown, Duke Nukem versus Lo-Wang, I can't pronounce that, versus Celeb. Okay, just want to let everyone know here I'm dyslexic, so I do apologise. And Shelly Bombshell. What, is she a bombshell? Okay. So if you guys haven't seen this video, go and watch that video first. And then as soon as that, come back, watch me. What's this? So that's it. Let me continue. Yeah, I completely forgot that this was made by your favorite Canadian YouTuber, and it's been a while since I've done one of these. So yeah, just want to let you guys know. Yeah, it's his video. So yeah, there we go. So just gonna let you guys know. Who are these guys? Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I know Duke Nukem from the first game, the second game. I think there was like a third game on the PlayStation 1. I've played the first two on the PlayStation 1. I haven't played the third one on the PlayStation 1, or is it PlayStation 2? I have played the Duke Nukem one on I think it was on the PlayStation 1. I did play that. I mean, it wasn't as good as the classics, but you know, what can you do? So yeah, I have absolutely no idea who these other guys are. I mean, since Duke Nukem is in this, I'm going to be rooting for that badass. I mean, seriously. Hold on. Quick question. Back in the day when you know, games like, you know, Duke Nukem, you know, was coming out. I mean, everybody was like, yeah, I want to be the badass that as a gun starts killing people, and there was also, like, you know, that Doom game. I mean, why is it that those games were fun back then, but now everybody just wants to have stories? I mean, what is up with that? I mean, has anybody noticed that? Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and get to the video. So yes, like I said, I'm gonna be siding with Duke Nukem because I know him. But as for these guys, I have absolutely no idea who these guys are. So yeah, well, that's said and done. Let's get to the watching. So this is Show-Off Showdown, Duke Nukem versus Lo-Wang versus again, I do apologise, I'm dyslexic, versus Shelly Bombshell. And 3, 2, 1, and go!
Welcome to Show-Off Showdown! In this series, the fighters are called Show-Offs, and this is the series for the Show-Off Showdown.
I need a straw.
So let's meet the Show-Offs for tonight's
Ooh, a chick.
showdown, shall we? Tonight, we have a battle royale unlike any other between the four kings of build engine FPS. Duke Nukem, Lo-Wang, Caleb, and Shelly Bombshell Harrison. Oh, and before we begin, this battle will feature a full pre-analysis for all four characters.
Yay!
Sit down and strap in, because it's going to be a long run.
Ooh.
And without further ado, it's time for the Show-Off Showdown pre-analysis.
Fair warning, this pre-analysis may contain some spoilers for certain games such as Shadow Warrior, Blood, and Ion Fury. So if you don't want to be spoiled and want to experience the games for yourself, I recommend doing so before continuing to watch the video. But if you've already played the games or don't mind any spoilers,
I don't mind spoilers.
feel free to continue watching.
I mean, it depends on the game.
The Build Engine is one of the most innovative and important game engines in the gaming industry, and
Build
it has
engine.
given birth to a whole subgenre with some of the greatest classic first-person shooters ever made, 4 of which being Duke Nukem 3D, Shadow Warrior, Blood, and the more recent throwback, Ion Fury. The subgenre of build engine FPS not only offers fun, addictive, fast-paced gameplay,
Cool.
but as the cherry on top, each game comes with its own memorable, badass one-liner spinning protagonist. And this pre-analysis
So
will have
cool.
a quick rundown on 4 of the greatest and most memorable, those being Duke Nukem, Lo-Wang, Caleb, and Shelly, Bombshell, Harrison.
What
And a
about
world
Doom
full
Guy?
of badasses, these 4 are the kings. But there's only room on the throne for one
Three
king,
kings,
one
one queen.
So who's gonna take the crown? Well, let's find out. Who better to start off with than Duke Nukem?
Let's rock, baby.
Now, this guy
No,
hardly needs an
that's
introduction,
that's
unless
Dante.
you're not a 90s kid, which I'm guessing most of you aren't. So I'll give a brief description.
I'm a 90s
Duke
kid.
Nukem is basically the pinnacle of 80s and 90s action hero cliches. He's the savior of Earth, the alien arse kicker, and the king of the world, baby. While Duke's
He's awesome.
reputation has kind of gone downhill ever since you know which game came out.
Yep.
And while some of Duke's tropes are kind of outdated by today's standards,
Yep.
he still remains one of the most definitive and memorable video game characters of all time.
Oh,
to
yeah.
this day.
He's
Now that
awesome.
we've
I love
talked
him.
about Duke, let's take a look at his stats, shall we? Being a muscular powerhouse, Duke is strong enough to decapitate foes with a single kick, physically overpower large alien cyborgs and mutants, and easily rip enemies' heads clean off. He's fast enough to outrun RPG rockets, dodge plasma and machine gun fire, and hop between buildings like a typical action hero. And he's durable enough to tank bullets, lasers, point-blank explosions, and he can survive the vacuum of space without a suit, but only for a
Seriously?
limited time since he still needs oxygen.
Okay,
Not
fair
only
enough.
is Duke one tough mother effer, but he carries an
Mother
enormous amount of weapons in his arsenal, including the following: the mighty foot, which crushes foes almost instantly, a semi-automatic pistol, a classic pump shotgun, the
Boom.
rubber cannon, which is a triple-barrel machine gun, an anti-tank RPG rocket launcher, remote detonated pipe bombs, the shrinker, which shrinks enemies down to make it easier to squish them,
That bitch.
the microwave expander, which does the exact opposite, expanding enemies like a balloon until they explode, Dig Dug style, the laser trip bomb, which can be attached to surfaces and explodes when enemies are near it, the freeze thrower, which freezes enemies solid and shatters them like glass.
Wasn't there one that turns them into chickens?
Which is basically a projectile flamethrower, and the Devastator, a shoulder-mounted miniature missile launcher. Try saying that 5 times fast. Now, outside the original Duke 3D game, Duke has quite a few other weapons throughout the years, including an atomic bolt pistol,
Yeah.
a Golden Colt M911 with laser sights, a railgun with a sniper scope, an alien homing missile launcher and laser minigun, the Impregnator, which files green alien goo, a potato gun called the Noob Tube, named after Call of Duty 4's infamous grenade launcher attachment,
Okay.
DFG, which is basically a ripoff of BFG from Doom, the stealth generator, which makes targets invisible, a sniper rifle, the
Why?
X-ray lightning gun that targets all enemies in sight, the holy hand grenade ripped straight out of Monty Python, and a crap ton of other weapons, which are mostly just mediocre versions of weapons I've already mentioned. Duke also carries a lot of non-weapon items, including a portable medikit, beer cans and whiskey, which restore health and increase defense, but makes Duke drunk, steroids, which temporarily increase Duke's strength and speed, portable force field, the Holo Duke, which turns Duke invisible and creates a hologram of Duke to distract enemies, night vision sunglasses, scuba gear, a jetpack, protective boots, and a mighty foot monster truck. Needless to say, Duke has got one big arsenal. Now, as impressive as Duke makes himself out to be, he's definitely not without his weaknesses. Duke is very overconfident and egotistical, refusing
Yeah,
to wear
he is
armor
actually.
because he thinks he's invincible, and power armor is for wussies. And he probably has several health problems thanks to the mix of alcohol, steroids, and cigars. Not to mention, Duke really loves women. A bit too much, maybe. As
I
he's a
love women.
hardcore womanizer, a bit semi-misogynistic, and he can go into fits of rage whenever women are kidnapped by aliens, and he spent 14 years in retirement doing nothing but lounging around with babes. But despite his flaws, Duke will always be ready to kick arse and chew bubble gum, and he's all out of gum. Now that we're done with Duke, let's talk
feminists would
about the
actually
Shadow
like
Warrior himself,
kneel to
Lo-Wang.
him.
Now keep in mind, this is strictly the classic
Okay,
Lo-Wang, which
keep
means
politics-
I will not
politics
be
out of
using
this.
any feats or traits from the Shadow Warrior reboot, as the modern
I haven't
Lo-Wang
actually,
is a completely different character with no connection to the classic Shadow Warrior whatsoever. Just thought I'd make that clear.
Okay.
Anyway, Lo-Wang is the Shadow Warrior, a master martial artist who carries around
I
more guns
haven't
than
played
the
this game.
average ninja.
I haven't played it.
Lo-Wang once worked for a man named Zilla. No, not that Zilla. That Zilla, a corporate businessman who had power over every major industry in Japan.
Looks like a
However,
samurai Nazi.
despite the corruption, as Zilla was bent on world domination and started summoning demons and monsters
Is that a
from
baby?
the dark side. Having discovered this, Lo-Wang decided to quit his job as Zilla's bodyguard, and in response, Zilla sent out his demonic assassins to kill Lo-Wang. In the process, Zilla also killed Lo-Wang's old master, and there begins a
Hey, look,
quest for
naked chick.
revenge. How original. Not only is Lo-Wang a very skilled martial artist, but he's pretty tough for a seemingly old man, as he's strong enough to punch large enemies and monsters to death with his bare hands, can
Punch
slice
monsters
people
to
and
death.
demons clean in half with a casual swing, and he can stand and run on top of an airplane in mid-flight without falling off. In terms of speed, Lo-Wang is very agile and acrobatic, and he's fast enough to dodge rapid gunfire, fireballs, missiles, and explosions. He's also durable enough to tank point-blank explosions, survive nuclear radiation poisoning for a substantial amount of time without any long-lasting effects, and he can stand in lava for about 5 to 10 seconds before it kills him. Not to mention, Lo-Wang can also survive being stung multiple times by what appears to be Asian giant hornets, which are one of the largest and most dangerous insects in the world, which carry a very painful neurotoxic sting that could potentially kill a human.
Yeah.
Yet, Lo-Wang can survive being stung multiple times without any long-lasting effects, and he can tough out the
I don't mind like honeybees. I mean, you know, those things are awesome.
Coyote Peterson in agonizing pain for about 36 hours, but I think I've talked enough about that. Now, in terms of
to be honest,
arsenal,
would you believe I've always wanted to have my own like little set of like honeybees? I think that'd be awesome.
Shurikens that bounce off walls and enemies. He can dual wield
but the hornets, I mean, keep those things away.
Riot gun, which is an automatic quad barrel shotgun.
Thankfully, we haven't got those in the UK.
A grenade launcher and gas bombs. A rocket launcher that can fire regular and heat.
I mean, if I saw one of those things, I'd probably run a while.
Energy projectiles that pierce through multiple enemies. The severed head of a guardian demon that shoots fireballs out its eyes, and the Ripper heart, which comes from large enemies called Rippers. And when the heart is squeezed, it creates a ghostly clone of Lo-Wang armed with a railgun. While Lo-Wang's arsenal ranges from cool to flat-out ridiculous, his most powerful weapon would be his portable nuke. That's right, you heard me. His rocket launcher I mentioned earlier also doubles as a portable nuke launcher, which charges for about 3 seconds before releasing a nuclear warhead that obliterates all enemies in a wide radius. Now you're probably thinking that this is Lo-Wang's easy ticket to winning, but as crazy as the nuke sounds, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to discredit it a little, because after close-up examination of the nuke, it's not as impressive as it sounds. For starters, not only is it a very small nuke that fits inside a portable rocket launcher, but the resulting nuclear explosion it creates isn't very large either, nor does it have a very wide radiation gas spread.
Talk about
barely even kill a giant sumo wrestler, but we can just blame that on the game's flawed logic and physics and simply ignore that.
Fair enough.
The instant where the nuke was best shown was at the end of Twin Dragon when Lo-Wang killed
Twin
his
Dragon
brother Lo by launching a nuke at him. Talk about overkill. From what
I'd
was
say
shown, the nuclear explosion does appear larger in the cutscenes than it does in game, but still not nearly as big as, say, the Little Boy or Fat Man. Now,
Little Boy.
do is compare this to the
Little Boy and
smallest
Fat Man.
nuclear
That's
bomb
funny.
ever made, which would be the W-54, aka the Davy Crockett, which had a blast yield equivalent of between 10 and 20 tons of TNT, which is about 1/1000th fraction of the bombs used on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Judging from the size of the physical nuke and the explosion it created, it's not too far off from that. Okay, now that we're done talking about that, while Lo-Wang is certainly a formidable and deadly fighter, he's not without his flaws. Not only is Lo-Wang quite cocky and headstrong, but he's also quite reckless and carefree with his actions, and often underestimates most opponents he faces. Not to mention, Lo-Wang is also a little pervy around women, which can be a problem for him, especially considering that most women he meets are assassins sent by Zilla to kill him. But on the bright side, he's not hesitant to defend himself
don't knock until you try it out, am I right?
regardless of gender, and as arrogant as Lo-Wang seems, he does have a sense of honor, and despises those who have no honor, and he especially hates opponents who run away from a fight like a coward, as he is always determined to finish the fight. But despite all this, Lo-Wang has still managed to defeat Zilla, avenge his master, and save the world, all that good stuff. Not to mention, he also defeated his evil twin brother Hung Lo, like I mentioned earlier. After all, Lo-Wang truly is the Shadow Warrior. Now enough about that
sounds awesome.
penis joke. It's time for some real bloodshed.
Alucard?
Caleb was a member of the Chosen, an elite team of servants part of the Cabal, an evil cult that worshipped the dark god Chernabog. One day, Chernabog told the Chosen that they had failed him, and thus he killed them all one by one, including Caleb's lover Ophelia, and then banished Caleb into a literal hollow grave. But then one night, Caleb rose up from the grave, and he was out for blood. And blood is the name of the game. Literally. Now let's just say, Caleb is not the most forgiving type. To sum him up, Caleb is like a fusion of Van Helsing and Clint Eastwood, but a lot more sadistic and bloodthirsty. Now in terms of physicality, being undead, Caleb is immortal from age and physically superhuman, as he's strong enough to rip open human bodies and pull their organs out with his bare hands, as well as crushed a giant demonic spider with a single stomp. He's fast enough to dodge rapid bullets, Tesla cannon, and electricity projectiles. And he's durable enough to take numerous bullets, fire explosions and blows from giant demonic monsters. He also seems to be resistant or even immune to pain, and consuming hearts and life essence will heal him much faster. He was also able to match and defeat Chernabog, but I'll talk more about that later. First, we'll take a look at Caleb's tools of
Isn't that the guy that was on Fantasia? You know, Disney's?
That lights enemies on fire almost instantly, a sawed-off shotgun which can quickly fire 2 spread shots at a time, or a bigger shot from both barrels at once, a Thompson submachine gun that pierces and mows down enemies rapidly, the napalm launcher which fires explosive balls of fire and acid that can vaporize human flesh down to the bone. He also carries bundles of dynamite that he just throws at enemies and watches them explode in bloody chunks, as well as proximity detonators that are placed on the ground
terror time again,
and remote detonators which are basically remote detonated sticks of dynamite. An aerosol can with a lighter, which is surprisingly a lot more effective than it seems. He can even just light the whole can and watch it explode in a blaze of fire. The Tesla cannon, which shoots rapid-fire bolts of electricity, as well as high-concentrated blasts of electricity. A voodoo doll, which when stabbed can damage any enemy within Caleb's line of sight. Or even
not gonna lie, that sounds awesome.
His hand over it, although Caleb could accidentally stab himself if there's nobody in his surroundings to use the doll on. And finally, quite possibly the most powerful weapon in Caleb's arsenal, the Life Leech, which fires explosive hot magical energy while also sucking out the souls and draining the life force of enemies, and transfers it to Caleb's own life force as well as fuel for projectiles. The Life Leech can also be placed upright and act as a sentry turret. However, if the Life Leech runs out of souls or life energy for ammunition, it will instead drain Caleb's own life force instead. Well, those are all of Caleb's main weapons.
Wow, okay, not gonna lie, but this guy sounds like he has a chance of winning.
Basically just duplicates that aren't really worth discussing. But the few unique ones include a sniper rifle, the Vulcan cannon, which is a very powerful minigun, the howitzer, which fires long-range artillery explosives, the insecticutioner, which releases very toxic flammable bug spray, the orb, which is a floating metal spiked ball that pierces through enemy skulls, the flare, which is a sharp metal hook on a chain that comes out of a small portal and hooks onto enemies, and
Hellraiser,
the singularity generator, which creates miniature black holes that sucks in enemies and destroys almost anything in its vicinity. Okay, now that we're covered all the weapons, let's discuss Caleb's most impressive feat. At the end of the game, spoiler alert, Caleb confronts the Dark God Chernabog, who reveals that he killed the other Chosen to ensure that Caleb would return seeking vengeance, because every life that Caleb has taken has made him stronger and grown more powerful, and Chernabog intended to use Caleb's power to throw open the doors between worlds and inherit the Earth. But things didn't go the way Chernabog planned, as Caleb ended up defeating Chernabog in battle and inheriting his godlike power. Now exactly how powerful is Chernabog, you may ask? Well, it has been said that Chernabog is the one who binds, and his job is to maintain the threads of reality and keep the dimensions separate from each other. So how powerful is Caleb now that he inherits this power?
Yeah, Duke doesn't stand a chance.
That's a tricky question to answer, because you see, Caleb actually never uses his godlike powers, and mostly just sticks to killing people the old-fashioned way like he always does. Also, Caleb has implied that he doesn't really know how to use those powers, and the only time he has ever been sort of shown using them was at the end of Blood 2. You know what? I'll just show the clip.
It's not over, Caleb. You must seal the rifts. You must rebind the fabric of this reality before it tears itself apart.
I don't know nothing about that kind of stuff.
The power is within you. It is time you used it.
Okay, just shut up. I need to focus.
Yeah, that cutscene cuts off just when he was about to use his power. You know, I think I'm starting to see why the sequel didn't have as good a reputation as the first game. Now, assuming that Caleb did seal the rifts and restore the fabric of reality like he said, you're probably thinking that this is a universal feat, right? Well, not exactly. This would mean that Caleb could rip open or seal gateways between dimensions, but he can't actually destroy the entire dimension itself.
Fair enough.
It's hard to say how powerful this actually makes him.
Yeah, this guy's great in the bag.
That much anyway, since Caleb doesn't even use those powers, other than that one instance where he supposedly did but wasn't directly shown, and he probably doesn't know how to use them once again. But it's hard to say for sure what is officially confirmed and what isn't. However, what I can confirm is that in terms of physicality, Chernabog is considered at least a multi-city block level of raw striking power and durability, so Caleb having inherited his power should likely have that same level if not greater, but that's all I can officially say on that. Now, one thing to note is that despite being a god, Chernabog can be killed physically, and therefore so can Caleb. But considering how
Cool.
tough Caleb and Chernobog are, as I've discussed earlier, it's definitely.
I gotta say, this guy looks really
most
cool.
people would think twice before messing with Caleb.
I don't know what it is, because
Good. And I'm the guy with a gun.
Now last, but certainly not least, let's move
Is-
on to Shelly Bombshell Harrison.
I'd say she's a
Shelly
bombshell.
is the protagonist
Boom.
of Ion Fury, a retro throwback game reminiscent of the old school style of the build engine FPS subgenre. It's also sort of a prequel to another game called Bombshell, a game that not many people remember, and I'm not surprised if you don't either.
I don't.
In fact, Ion Fury was originally supposed to be named Ion Maiden, but 3D Realms had to change the name because they got sued by the band Iron Maiden, which makes about as much sense as the band getting sued by the medieval torture device if you ask me. But I'm getting
Yeah.
off topic here. Anyway, Shelly Bombshell Harrison is a member of the Global Defense Force's Domestic Defense Force. She earned her codename for expertly defusing bombs, but when evil transhumanist mastermind Dr. Jadis Heskell unleashed the members of his cybernetic cult onto the streets of Neo DC, that's when Shelly knows it's time to start causing explosions instead of preventing them. Fun fact, the villain Dr. Heskell is actually voiced by John St. John, the voice of Duke Nukem. What a coincidence.
Wow.
Anyway,
Neat.
Shelly is quite a force to be reckoned with. She's fast enough to dodge rapid missiles, machine gun fire, and ion plasma shots.
Good anyways.
Also, according to a couple guys I know on Discord, Shelly can run a 100-meter sprint in only 8.15 seconds. Though, of course, combat
cool.
speed is more important than travel speed
He's on
when it comes
Discord.
to versus debating. Now, as for Shelly's strength, it's hard to determine exactly how strong Shelly is, because she doesn't have a lot of notable strength feats. But here's what I managed to dig up. Shelly can carry around a very large heavy chain gun, which was originally attached to the arm of a large war mech, though it's
Cool.
unknown whether if Shelly can rip the robot's arm off with her bare hands, or if the arm was already broken off after she destroyed it. However, the best strength feat I can confirm is that Shelly can throw darts with enough force to pierce through a cyborg's metal skull, or even obliterate their whole bodies into bloody chunks. Somehow. You know what?
I'd
I'll
say.
let it count. As for durability, Shelly can tank bullets, ion plasma shots, point-blank explosions, and corrosive acid sprayed onto her. She can also survive being submerged in deadly hazardous waste for a great amount of time, and she survived a massive explosion that completely destroyed Dr. Heskell's lair at the end of the game,
Just a wall.
which is definitely a building level feat for sure, and she walked away from it with very few scratches. Not to mention, Shelly is well protected as her body is encased in a thick layer of bulletproof Kevlar armor from head to toe, so she's well suited for combat. No pun intended. Not to mention, I personally think that Shelly's design is a great example of how a female game protagonist doesn't have to be overly sexualized in
Thank
order to
you.
look good while fighting.
Yes.
But I won't dig deep into that controversy. Trust me, we've got bigger fish to fry. Anyway,
Fish.
Shelly isn't
Fish,
nicknamed
yes.
Bombshell for nothing, as she loves her guns so much she's given them all
I
names.
totally agree with you on that. I mean,
A triple barrel revolver that can lock onto
a
multiple
a woman
targets.
doesn't need to be
The electro
over-sexualized
fire,
in
a
order
bullet
in
electrocute
order for
enemies
for
when she
people
whacks
to
them,
like
the
love
disperser
her. I
is
mean,
basically a hybrid
in
of a
fact, I
shotgun
think
and a
I
grenade
think it just
launcher
I think it
that
just
penetrates
degrades
with
the
her
character.
dual-loaded submachine gun
Unless
that can set
that, you know,
enemies on fire,
that's the whole
a
point of
very
like
cluster
of the
pump,
character.
a
You know, like
mine
when
that detonates upon impact or releases
when-
bouncing cluster of shrapnel to a large
you know,
area,
it depends
and
on
Shelly's
the sort of like
signature
character that you're trying to do
bowling
it.
which are basically explosive bowling
It's
balls
like,
that
you know, it's
sneak
like
out
that old
enemies as they roll.
Samus
Her
thing.
two most powerful
You know, with
weapons
that
are the ion bow
skin-tight
and the
suit
chain
thing.
gun. The ion bow
I
fires
don't
long-range
want them to
plasma shots, which can be charged up to
sexualize
5
female
simultaneous
characters.
shots at once, or could be charged up even
Never.
further
I don't-
for a
I never
high
know
damaging
that unless,
rapid-fire barrage
again,
that could take down even the toughest of
it's
enemies. And the
you know,
chain gun is
the
a
old
heavy
the old
weapon
point
that
of
was
the
originally
character.
part of a war mech, like I mentioned earlier, with high damage, widespread, rapid fire, long range, and accuracy. The chain gun is one of the most useful weapons in the game, especially during the boss fight against the Revenant warplane, as it's the only weapon capable of effectively damaging and destroying it. Oh, and not to mention, there was one instance where Shelly shot down the moon, although that was technically an Easter egg, so it doesn't really count towards her actual in-game feats. If it
Neat.
did, then this battle would be too easy for her. Now, not only is Shelly packing quite an arsenal, but it also comes with
She's
assortment
packing.
of upgrades and supplies, including a portable medkit, the jump boots, which allow her to double jump, a hazmat suit, an ultrasonic radar that allows her to spot enemies, the blast accelerator, which temporarily gives her an infinite amount of bowling bombs to throw, and the super damage chip, which temporarily doubles the damage output of all her weapons. Now, despite how how tough and persistent Shelly is and how big her arsenal is, she's not without her weaknesses. Much like Duke, Shelly is very cocky and overconfident, sometimes underestimates opponents, and she hardly ever takes any situation seriously, even when in highly dangerous or life-threatening situations. Though we could say it's because she's so good at what she does that she doesn't even need to try, but it's still not always the best approach to combat. Not to mention, Shelly seems to have a bit of a short fuse, a drinking problem that can be distracting at times, and she also doesn't wear a helmet, except in the options menu, which could potentially leave her vulnerable, though she seems to be doing fine without one, so maybe not. Not to mention, Shelly appears to have some form of prejudice against machines.
Never trust a machine.
But despite her flaws, Shelly's bravery, stubbornness, and determination still led her to defeating Dr. Heskel, saving the ODC, and celebrating with a nice cold drink. Shelly has proven that she truly is the Ion Fury. See what I did there? No? Okay.
This is it, folks. Who will be the winner of this ultimate crazy
I'm gonna go with the undead guy.
Find out. Now, without further ado, it's time for the show-off to
the one that looks like a la carte.
Get ready for the next.
Alright, come.
Say my name.
I'm not gonna fight you. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Bring it on.
Oh, come on, Duke wouldn't hit a girl.
I could do this all day.
Sure, let's dance.
In fact, I think these two.
We're done when I say we're done.
I think these two would actually get along. If you know what I mean.
Ooh, your ass is grass, and I've got the weed whacker.
Oh, I don't think that's covered under warranty. Oh my God, the quarterback is toast.
What?
You're pissing me off.
I'm gonna kick your shiny metal ass.
Your face, your ass, what's the difference? There's only two
Well,
ways
they both look nice.
and in both of them, you die. I am the king of the world, baby.
Okay.
You wanna dance?
Sure, let's dance. Clean up on aisle your ass.
Hey, baby, I got some lug nuts for you. Those real tits?
Fire in the hole, assholes.
Oh.
Who wants who's next? Hey, Bug Eyes. Oh, shake it,
baby. Oh, come on, Duke.
You talking to me?
Hey, you look like you need ass kicked.
I've got 2 guns. That should be enough for all of you.
Oh, look, you coming apart. Holy cow, look like Duke Nukem.
My gun's bigger than yours.
Well, okay.
Chicky Bum, meet Mr. Stupid. You're no mess with Lo-Wang.
I'm not dead yet.
Holy shit.
What are you gonna do? Bleed on me?
Ah, better than acupuncture.
Boo-hoo. When's the hurting stop?
I knew he was gonna win. I knew it.
Now that was quite a bloodbath.
Now let's discuss how and why Caleb wins this epic build Badass Showdown. Because of how long the pre-analysis was, I'll keep it short and simple. But if you've seen enough of it, then you probably should have seen this coming, as Caleb holds the majority of advantages in more ways than one. But before I get into that, I'll say this. Duke Nukem, Lo-Wang, and Shelly are all pretty closely matched when it comes to speed, strength, and durability for the most part. I will say that Shelly has a bit of an edge in defense, since she's more well-armored than everybody else, as she's completely covered in bulletproof Kevlar, while Duke refuses to wear armor, and Lo-Wang is basically shirtless. You know, I find it kind of ironic that the only female protagonist is actually more fully clothed and armored than all the male protagonists in this battle. Joking aside, once again,
I
they're
guess.
very well physically matched. So close, in fact, that it's their weapons and hacks that make more of the difference. Duke certainly has the biggest arsenal of weapons, along with a few decent hacks, which can counter pretty much everything in Shelly's arsenal, and most of Lo-Wang's as well. But there's one weapon in Wang's arsenal that I'm sure a lot of you have anticipated, which would be Lo-Wang's nuke. Now the real question is, could Lo-Wang's nuke kill Caleb? Well, it can definitely kill Duke and Shelly for sure without question. As for Caleb, it is possible, but there's no guarantee it'll work. even if the nuke could kill Caleb, it wouldn't really matter in the long run for several reasons. One, Lo-Wang would need to gain a far distance or hide behind a wall before deploying the nuke,
or refrigerator.
Caught in the nuclear explosion, which is going to be
if you get that reference.
difficult when fighting an opponent who is just as fast, if not even faster than Lo-Wang. Two, this match has no prep time, so Lo-Wang wouldn't know that he needs to pull out the nuke immediately, as he has never met Caleb or any of the other fighters before, so immediately going for the nuke is not his first battle tactic at a random encounter. And three, even if Lo-Wang did know he need to pull out the nuke right away, he wouldn't have time to launch it at Caleb anyway, as the nuke launcher has to charge for up to 3 tedious seconds before deploying, which would give Caleb plenty of time to kill Lo-Wang beforehand, whether it be via leeching his life force or soul, or just plain ripping him apart. Lo-Wang is done for either way. In short, Caleb has the overall advantages in terms of strength, speed, durability, hacks, and power output, and debatably weapons, so he pretty much owns this battle. You know, I'm starting to think that maybe I should have chosen a more formidable opponent for Caleb, like maybe the Doomslayer. Now that would be awesome, but that's gonna have to wait. For now, let's wrap this up. So, in the end, Caleb takes the crown, so hail to the new king, baby. The winner of this battle is Caleb. Oh, and one more thing. For those of you who don't already know, I now officially have a Patreon. If you want to show your support and join the RCMP, as in Royal Canadian Mounted Patrons, then that would be so awesome, and I would really appreciate it. Members of the RCMP will have beneficial access to future episodes of Show Off Showdown and other videos before they're officially released, as well as exclusive access to special posts and videos that can only be viewed on Patreon.
Join the RCMP, and the first thing you'll learn is a nice shiny badge.
Yay!
Got any ideas for Show Off Showdown?
I do, actually.
Let me know in the comments below, and hopefully, I just might do them. Now stay tuned for the next episode of Show Off Showdown.
I do have a suggestion, and I'm pretty sure that, you know, not most people, but fans would love to see this fight. I would like to see Gremlins versus the Krites, or the Critters. Now, the reason why I want to see that is because it's been like a match I've been waiting for a very, very long time. I mean, there's going to be a new Gremlins movie coming out sometime somewhere in the future, I do believe. And there's like the new Critters movie, and I believe there's the series. So, come on. I mean, come on. Okay. I mean, obviously, you can't, you know, show you can't, you know, put these two together to fight now, because, you know, we gotta wait and see what's gonna happen in Gremlins 3, and there's also that new series that's going out. So the best thing to do is to wait until Gremlins comes back out. But I mean, who knows? Maybe, just maybe, they might actually make these two little buggers fight each other in a crossover fight. I mean, that'd be awesome to do. So yeah, I mean, I think Canadian YouTube might need to wait like a year or something until they can actually do that. So yeah, I mean, it was sad that Duke Nukem lost, but come on, that guy Caleb, the one that looked like Alucard. I mean, you can't really argue with that. Sad. And you know, I actually do agree what he said about you know, female characters being over-sexualized. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a dude. I love women, and you know, I mean, come on. We like to see, you know, like a little bit of skin there and there. But I do agree that, you know, over-sexualizing women in, you know, in like movies and games and all that stuff, I mean, it's something I don't want. You know, when it comes. I mean, look at Lara Croft. I mean, she was a badass. Let's see, Lara Croft. Well, okay, I'm getting off track. But the main point is, I mean, if a series or a game or something like that is going to be like, you know, that sort of game where they're showing off more skin, I mean, okay, fine, whatever. But when they're doing it like in like a series that I know or I like or something like that, it's I mean, you just don't do that, all right? I mean, you don't show off the skin just to like, you know, let the fans go, oh, check this out, she's got some clothes off and awesome. I don't want that. It's just degrading to the character. So yeah, I've been talking too much about that. My favorite part has to be the oh shoot, I forgot his name. You know, the one with the sword. You know, the pervy old man that That sounded like a stereotypical Asian Master Roshi. that was hilarious. That was. Loads of fun. That was fantastic. Sad that Duke lost, but hey, what can you do? So, if there's anything you guys want me to react to, just leave it in the comment section below, and I will get to that video as soon as I can. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. And if there's a series you want me to check out and review and give my thoughts on it, or if there's a top 10 list you want me to do, or any reactions, or responses, or rants on anything geeky, just leave links and comments in the comment sections below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. If you guys want to go and check out my other social medias, I'm on Gab, Discord, BitChute, Dailymotion, Reddit, Subscribestar, Minds, Instagram, Twitch, DeviantArt, Pinterest, Parler, my anime list, and Vidya. And don't forget to check out my scripted channel, Gypsy Freak. And my other social medias are down there in the description box below, so if you want to go and check them out, please do. And if you guys want to support this channel, I'm on PayPal, Patreon, and GoFundMe. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss another video. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.